Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for February 28th, 2024 committee meeting. I call this committee meeting to order. We will be discussing this evening committee issues for March 5th and March 29th legislative agenda. Moving right along, our first resolution on the agenda for economic and community development is a resolution authorizing the submission of the 2023 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, better known as the CAPER. We have Mr. Crosby here from Economic and Community Development.
Thank you. First, this is a first. We have before you is our annual report that's submitted to HUD on every year. This one is for fiscal year 2023.
Speak up a little bit for me, James.
For fiscal year 2023. We do have to bring it before council before we actually submit it. We're extremely happy with the performance. In 2023, we're getting back to pre-COVID types of numbers. We're extremely happy with our first-time home buyer activity this particular year. We planned for 15, we had 13 people actually purchase homes. Low to moderate income people actually purchase homes within the city. So we plan to increase that expectation for 2024 to possibly 24, 25 people. In light of the interest rate increases that we're seeing, we think that's really good performance. The plan will be on display from March 4th until March 18th, where we will accept comment from the public. Thank you, Councilwoman Buff, for pointing out some things in our meeting yesterday. We plan to make those edits in the CAPER before we actually put it on display. And we'd like council approval at the March 19th council meeting, if that's possible. Any questions?
Is there any questions from anyone on council?
I just want to say, as I read through that, I was really amazed by the scope of what is covered under those two grants. And for the sake of the people listening who may not get a chance to read it or download it, these are, thank you for pointing out the first-time home buyers and the achievement there. What would be a goal for next year, maybe somewhere where you hope to do better in 2023 that you'd like to, build on?
Probably, in our adult literacy program, we've seen a drop in participation in that particular activity. So, that's something we are talking to that particular service provider about to see how we can increase those numbers. Also, the numbers of people that take advantage of the actual first-time home buyer counseling activity. We've seen those numbers drop during COVID. They are increasing, but we'd like to see them increase at a higher number.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other council comments? Are there any comments from the public? Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th legislative agenda?
March
So
19th.
moved.
Oh, you wanted, which one, James?
Do you want?
March 19th,
Okay.
simply because it's going to be on display from March 4th through March 18th.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Is there a motion to place this on our March 19th legislative agenda?
I move to.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that moves forward to our March 19th legislative agenda.
I'm sorry, but the three people on that committee are Buckingham, Johnny Street, and Washington. So Betsy, we need you to either approve or disapprove it moving on. Betsy?
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. I did approve.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
Okay.
I got it off mute now.
Okay.
Thank you, Betsy.
I was not asleep.
Oh, you heard?
Thank you, Mr. Crosby.
Thank you.
Up next, we have a resolution from our Bureau of Health.
Good evening. So this one, I guess, there's 3 different resolutions that are coming in. The first one is a yearly award that we get for $100,000 from Family Health Council for family planning. The second one will be a 2-year grant. This is only for 1 period though, an additional $75,000, and it's for a women's health services program. So it will be to add a person and do additional work between our maternal child health and our sexual wellness program. And then the last one is an extension of the COVID funding that we've been receiving, the ELC, and it actually started July 1, but we're still waiting for that agreement to come through because it was extended.
Thank you, Samantha. Is there any comments from council or questions from council?
No.
Any comments or questions from the public? Oh, yes, go ahead.
Sorry. I found a note, I had a question. Is this the, this is the one for the 100,000 and the 75,000, and then section 3 of this resolution talks about, my apologies, didn't realize. So this is the resolution for the 100,000 in section 1, 75,000 in section 2, and then section 3 talks about Pennsylvania Department of Health to enhance lab surveillance, et cetera. And it says, whereas Pennsylvania Department of Health desires to continue its agreement with the City of York Bureau of Health for the epidemiology and lab capacity for infectious diseases grant in the amount of $3,705,687 for the period January 1, 2023 through June 30, 2026. And so is the $3,000,007 for those 3 years, or is that for 1 year of the 3 years?
It's for 3 years, and it's COVID funding. It's not new money. It's literally just rollover that we haven't spent.
And I'm sorry if I'm not missing it. What was the amount that you plan to spend in this next?
I will have to get you that.
Oh.
Because we've been delayed. Like I said, this started July 23rd. Really, we've only been able to use personnel for the first 6 months because we wanted to make sure that everything else was approved. So we're working on, like, once we get it, we'll have to back bill all those months. So yeah, if that makes sense. I can get you the number, though.
Okay, so the $3,000,007 is for a 3-year period of time. It's been in effect for 6 months. You've just used it for personnel so far. And then the plan for this year, 2024, will be personnel plus.
Yeah.
And then some amount to carry into 25 and half of 26.
Yeah, when we submit our budget for this, for the agreement, we have to submit justification with a plan on how we spend it. So we have that plan that's been approved and everything for how it's going to be spent over 3 years.
So that may already be in the budget, and I can look there. Would
Yes.
you direct me to that?
In the budget.
Yeah, we already have this, the associated amount with this in the approved 2024 budget. This is just the agreement for it. They'll do this every year. They'll have an agreement that says, okay, you have this much left over here. This is what you can use. And so, yeah, it's already in the operating budget. This is just granting approval to sign the agreement that's going to be coming around for this newest batch of rollover.
Got it. And it looks like this is Fund 25. If I'm reading this correctly?
I think it's Fund 26. ELC is in Fund 26.
Yeah, this was specifically funding that we got because of COVID. So we did put that under special projects for Fund 26 to keep it out of 25, which is the regular state health grants that we receive.
Sorry, I was looking ahead to the next one. Okay, so Fund 26. Thank you.
Are there any further questions from anyone on council? Is there a motion to place this on the March 5th legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
That moves forward, and it will be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. Up next, we have another resolution authorizing various budget transfers from the Bureau of Health.
These three budget transfers are all due to shift personnel funds around. We normally include a 2.5% COLA, but in the 24 budget, a 3% COLA was approved. So this is just to make those adjustments that are needed to make sure we're billing the max hourly rate for each employee.
Thank you. Are there any questions from anyone on council? Any questions from the public? Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That moves forward to be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. We have one more bill authorizing various budget amendments from our Bureau of Health.
So these, the section 1 is we received money from the state to provide 10 inspections for individuals. Our lead coordinator, Mary Lou, does that, so we will just get reimbursed that amount, adding it to the budget. Number 2 is for additional funding that we have received and been approved for the lead program as well. That's a different funding source. 3 is adding that $75,000 for the women's health services into the 24 budget because we just received that. And then the last one is a donation that's being received, so we're adding it to our special project health account.
Thank you. Are there any comments from anyone on council?
I would just say thanks to whoever made the donation to the program.
Yeah, I believe it was York Hospital Nursing Association. So Kim once helped facilitated that, one of our nurses at the clinic.
Wonderful. Are there any other comments or questions for anyone on council? Any comments or questions from the public? Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That moves forward to be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. Up next, we have a resolution authorizing an agreement with ESI for parking garage cameras. And do we have anyone here from the administration to speak in reference to that? Kim?
Yeah, myself and Parking Bureau Manager Cottrell Barnes will address this. Cottrell knows what the plan is and why we're doing it, so I'll let him go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Barnes.
Hi. So we are looking to upgrade the current cameras that we have in the parking garages. The ones that we have right now are outdated. Technology has moved forward. And currently we only have cameras at the entry and exit points in the garage, but we found that we need more security. So we're looking at adding cameras to every floor so that way it covers our assets that we have in a parking garage, but then also other people's assets. We have contracts with 96 South George Street. The Yorktown Hotel is now active again. And we do need to make sure that we're covering not only the entry points, but also the different assets that everyone else owns, people that are parking in parking garages. So we would like to go ahead and upgrade the cameras so that way we have full coverage within the garages, and we can just better monitor the activity that's in there.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Is there any comments or questions from anyone on council?
Just wondering, how old are the present cameras? Do we know?
The current ones in the garage right now are 17 years old.
Ooh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
That's as old as my desktop computer, and I'm just now replacing that finally.
Yeah, the gerbil's getting tired of running it.
Yeah.
But to piggyback on to Cottrell's, I just upgraded the ones in City Hall with the same ones that he's going to put in the garages. So we have the availability if you want. I can show you what we're putting in. technology is crystal clear. We're able to search for if something happens. Right now, with the old system, if you tell me it happened between Friday at 5 p.m. and Monday at 8 a.m., Dave gets to sit there and watch all those hours of video.
Oh.
Because there's no way to like just search. And with the new system, there was a bicycle laying in the grass out here in the courtyard the other day, and we circled that bicycle to see when it showed up. We saw it Monday morning at 6 a.m. I circled the bicycle, clicked find, and it found it. It showed up Friday evening at like 4:40.
Wow.
But it found it in less than a minute. So it just, the AI portion of it is phenomenal. Now it doesn't do, we were laughing about searching people, but it does, it will label like a person, a truck, a car, a bicycle. So we'll be able to search that way. If something happens in the parking lots or in the garages, we can circle a parking space. If they say I was in space G6, you can circle G6, and it'll just pull up events in that. So the technology that he'll wind up with will definitely enhance the security functions for the garage and the residents and assets that are in the garage. So
I mean, I support the security idea. As a woman who's often by myself especially, have we had problems in our garages? Has it been a real issue?
Trell can answer that one better than I can.
I think it depends on what we're looking at in different points in the year. To be honest, we'll have kids playing in the garage. We get a lot of vehicles in the summertime that like to do burnouts on the roof of the garage.
Oh.
We do have some teenagers that like to make obstacle courses and things of that nature. We have had some damage in elevators, things of that nature. So it kind of varies. Usually it's a property thing. It's not something where it's like an assault or anything like that for the most part. But we added EV chargers to the garage. They're expensive. We need to keep an eye on them. We upgraded technology for entry and exit for the entry and exit machines. Again, those hold money. We need to keep on them. So there's a lot of things that we need to keep track of. But we do have some things that are happening. Especially, it's going to be more active in the summertime. But yeah, we do have things.
How long can we expect this new technology? How many years do you expect to get out of these cameras? Will we be able to update them more easily?
Well, I would think so. Yeah.
15 years is the expected life, but we can update the processing and the programming as we're going. That's constantly evolving, but the cameras themselves, we hope to get 15 years out of.
Okay.
So, the current cameras we had here, we moved in 2012, so they were installed in 2012. So we're 12 years old, and they started to fail at the end of last year. That's when we came to you to change. So 12 to 15 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions? I just want to say thank you to Mr. Barnes and Mr. Rudolph for seeing the importance of making sure that we have enhanced safety measures in our garages to keep our city safe and those who utilize our garages. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This moves forward, and it will be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. Moving along to police, we have a bill authorizing a budget amendment for a PCCD grant in an amount of $539,802. Kim?
Yep, that's me. I almost thought I got away with nothing on this agenda besides supporting those that are here. But this is a funding source that's coming through. It's a PCCD grant that for Pennsylvania Commission of Crime and Delinquency that is actually coming through the county. And this grant was previously, the agreement was approved last year, and we did a budget amendment to add the 2023 budget items to the budget. And then this year, I think it was a combination between confirming the amounts that were able to, again, carry over for the second year for this budget, and the police department has various funding. It's like the best problem ever, that the police department has so many various funding sources that I think we just kind of crossed paths on making sure that we had them all included. So this one is an amendment for something that was already in place, and we just need to add it 24 so we can start pulling from it.
Thank you, Kim. Are there any comments or questions from council regarding this? Any comments or questions from the public? Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
That would have to.
I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And that moves forward to be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. Moving along to our general areas, we have a bill authorizing a budget amendment for the holiday luncheon for $9,999 and Fund 26 for $136,000, Human Relations Commission.
Yep, that's me too. I feel like I'm having deja vu because we just had an amendment for this exact fund. And again, it's a good problem because they received a large donation that they were able to add to the bucket so that they can add to the services. At least that's the first part. So they got an extra donation for the holiday lunch that they need to add additional revenue and expenses to use. Then we've got, I forgot we had another section, and this is actually a grant, well, I guess it's a subrecipient, is that what we decided? It's funding that's available through the Health Bureau and their workforce development grant that they worked with HRC to decide, hey, what can we do in the public? And there was 2 programs that were developed. The first of which is is for workforce trainings and support services in the public, and then the second one is for the downtown business anti-discrimination training. So that's the one, and then the other one is the Youth Coalition Collaborative. So each one of those, they're going to get $68,000 that they're going to be able to use before the end of June. So I know the executive director, Claire Toomey, has plans in place. She's already ready to get up and running. She's got meetings she's wanting to hold with the public and these trainings with the downtown vendors. And so she's very excited about this. I think we all are about this collaborative. I think Health Bureau's glad that they found a place to share their money with in order that would benefit all. And then Claire's just ready to go to get out there and do what she can. So that's what these budget amendments are for. More money, more money, more money.
Thank you, Business Administrator Robertson. Are there any comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from the public? Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This moves forward and it will be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. We are adding, it is in our packet, but it's just not numbered on the outside. We are adding number 8, a resolution amending the fiscal year 23 budget, appropriating expenditures from our ARPA funding for new roofs and generators for several city buildings. And I will move forward with our Business Administrator Robertson.
Yep. Dave and I will tag team this one. We're very excited about this one. I want to clarify for everyone and that The ARPA money that the city received, we were able to claim $10 million of it as lost revenue reimbursement. Long story about how they got there until they're like, you could take a flat 10. So we have been kind of holding on to that, and with the hope that we'll be able to use it towards reducing the healthcare expenses for next year's budget. In terms of, since that gets allocated out across the city, the mayor is looking to whatever's left of that 10 million when we go into the budget time for 25, is that essentially I will deduct that from the expenses for the healthcare expenses in my risk management budget, which will reduce the allocation that goes out to the city, which will reduce everybody's expenses. Great goal, and we'll definitely go down that way. But when we also realize that there are still some projects that we could use these funds for that otherwise we don't have funding for, and they're very important. And this one for the roofs have been on the list from the council's suggestion from the start, from our capital needs assessment. So the mayor agreed to go ahead and use part of the $10 million for revenue replacement to fund the repair and replacement of 4 roofs of city buildings, and to provide 5 generators, backup generators.
Yep, yeah, 5.
So Dave can go ahead and give you details about like what all are we going to get for the requested 3.7 million, and how this is going to at least last half a lifetime at least for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good evening, folks. We'll start with the roofs, because that has been my pet project, as you all know, for quite a few years. So the roofs specifically would be City Hall full replacement with a 75-year slate shingle. The current shingle on here was what they call an S2. I won't bore you with all the, but it was only a 40-year shingle. It's hit its max life. So we'll replace it with a 75-year shingle, so that shingle roof should be done for any of our period of employment. Next one would be City Hall, or Police Department, full slate replacement. And that roof is original, so 1941 the building was built, way over being past due. So that'll be a full replacement on that one. We'll do a replacement at the Eagle Fire Station, because we're back in there. We moved fire department back into there again, and we're going to retask that building, hopefully put it to better use than just sitting empty. So that won't be a slate roof. We're going to go with an architectural shingle. Saves us a ton of money. Will last, 30, 40 years still. And then at the roller rink, ice rink, rollerway, will just be a coating repair patch on that roof. To replace the whole roof, we'd had to take all the steel off and basically rebuild the whole building. So we didn't want to do that. We're just going to go over it with a fiber and give it a good coating. The vendor and the roofer installer are telling me we'll get 20 years out of this coating. So you can't ask for much more than that with it outgoing with a brand new roof, which would have been more than $1 million to replace that roof. So that takes care of the roofs. The next project for us, do you have any questions on what we're doing roof-wise? I don't want to blow through it. Like I said, I didn't want to bore you with all I got a ton of details.
Are you doing an RFP process for the installer?
No, we aren't. We use U.S. I almost said U.S. Customs. It's U.S. Communities. It's like a CoStar's purchasing program, so they're approved by the state, so we don't have to do RFPs.
So the vendor name is U.S. CoStars?
It's U.S. Communities.
U.S. Communities.
U.S. Community. It's a purchasing program. The vendor is Garland Roofing, and then the installer is Ream. Garland Roof Systems is what we'll put on. Ream Roofing will be the installer, but the whole program is purchased through what's called U.S. Communities. It's a purchasing program through the federal government.
And did you say Ream for the
Yes,
installer? REAM?
Ream Roofing, yep.
And Garling supplies the
Garland
material?
Yeah, Garland supplies the material, yes. So what it is, Garland supplies the material, and they have a specific process of the way it's to be done. And then our warranty actually goes through Garland. So if we have an issue, like I have an issue at my building right now, we're 24 and a half years into a 25-year warranty. So I'm still had that on this for redoing, but trying to get it pushed into the repair.
One more question. Are you doing gutters and downspouts as well?
As needed, yeah.
As needed?
Yep, yeah. We didn't do all of them. Here we're doing, might as well say we're doing all of them. It's probably 90% of it. The other buildings, we're only replacing a few 100 feet, 200 feet maybe.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was it, did you say yes, you'll be doing downspouts and gutters, or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
As needed,
Okay.
yes. All right, and then the next thing I have is full building generators, backup generators for, one will be installed here at City Hall, Lincoln Fire Station, Goodwill Fire Station, Vigilant Fire Station, and also the Eagle Fire Station. Since we're putting guys out there, we're going to go back to full building generators. We had generators in all the firehouses, but all they ever did was lighting. No heating, no air conditioning, nothing else, and was the same way here. It was never really a big deal till we had our debacle break-in and we lost power right after that, and so we were dead in the water basically. So now we're going to look for a full building generator that will, the firehouses will all be natural gas based generators. The one for this building, because of the size of the generator, it'll have to be a diesel generator, so it'll have a diesel fuel tank underneath it. I wasn't happy about that myself, but they said the only way to really get one big enough to do this building, we would have to buy 2 natural gas generators, and then I'd have 2 generators sitting out here, just double the maintenance. So we're going to go with the diesel fuel generator. And that one will be sitting out here. We'll hide it with some shrubbery or whatever. The other thing we were worried about, the mayor asked about noise. So we're putting, in next to the firehouses and whatever, but we'll have the same style generator that's in at the police department right now. When it runs, you can stand on the sidewalk 20 feet away and not tell it's running. They're pretty close. So, price, Kim has all the prices for all you folks on that. That also, ma'am, is going through CoStar's purchasing. So what we did, instead of doing, we were going to do Keystone purchasing for that, which would give us the contractor, the material, and the install all in one. But the contractor would mark the generator prices up by 25% if they purchase them. So I'm going to purchase the generators separate through CoStars. We save money that way, and then we'll hire low bar through Keystone purchasing, and we'll use them that way. So it saved us, I think if I figured it right, it saved us like $229,000 doing it that way. So trying to pinch our pennies the best we can. So any questions on generators?
I don't have any. I don't know if anyone else on council does.
You're looking. I'll answer if I can.
Let me ask him real quick. You said for the fire stations, I have Goodwill, Vigilant, Eagle, and what was the last one?
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Thank you.
Yep. And City Hall.
I guess, how often did the fire stations lose power, or last year, the past 2 or past 3 years? Does it happen often, or is it?
Yeah, it does happen more than you would think. And it's, the problem with the fire stations, when they were installed, they, like I said, they did lighting. No one ever thought to do the garage door. So the firehouse would lose power, and then the truck can't get out because you can't lift the garage door. You know, so I always laugh, like with the police department and all that. I tell them, you know, they want heat and air conditioning, and I tell them, you know, it works in the car. Go out in the car. You know, so that's a running joke for them. But if you can't get out of the firehouse, so that was their thing. I know last year, the fire station, the Rex and Laurel on the corner, they lost power for a week. So that, you know, they're down. They have nothing. Now with the full building generator, we'll be able to have lighting, heat, air, computers, phone, the radios, the whole works. So it'll bring them up to the 20th century finally.
That's great. And,
Yeah.
and wow, you need to get the doors open.
Yeah.
So they have generators now that do the lighting. Are you able to resell, or what's the plan for the old generators? Can you resell them or scrap them or get some money from them?
Well, my plan, I'm working with it's Winter Generator in the industrial park that's supplying them. A couple of the generators are past their service life. Like the generator for City Hall right now is currently not working. That prompted us to push this along. The generator at Station 1 up here in the corner is still in good working order. So I'm hoping to try and get that installed at the highway department. If all we do is lighting in the garage door, we have something. Because for like emergency services, they have the police department, the fire department. When Public Works, when we have a snowstorm, a tornado, a hurricane, we all work out of the highway department. Well, we lost power when the building collapsed on the firefighters. We lost power in that building, so we were out for a couple of days. And we're stuck down there, so nothing. So at least we can get the basics, and maybe down the road we put bigger generator in. So hopefully the 4 that we pull out, we can retask to highway, parks. My building's too big for any of it, so we're not, you know. But if we lose power, we just move to another building.
Super.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions from council or comments? Any comments or questions from the public? Oh,
Yeah, I'll just add also with City Hall, like for emergency preparedness purposes, we have our EOC downstairs, so that Emergency Operations Command Center that can function, as well as like vaccines. So we have vaccines that have to stay at a temperature. So if we lose power, then either we have to move it to a different site or stuff like that. So this will be a backup as well, so make it a little easier than trying to have to like use community partners to handle vaccines and inventory and all the stuff that goes with that, so.
thank you, Samantha.
Thanks, Sam. I forgot all about that. Did we take them through that? Be good for them to see the EOC maybe someday.
I don't know if they have seen the EOC downstairs. Do you want to do that?
Sure, I would love to. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Rudolph, and thank you, Business Administrator Robertson.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a motion to place this on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Which meeting was that? I'm sorry.
The March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. And that moves forward to be placed on our March 5th, 2024 legislative agenda. Do we have any council comment this evening?
Hi. Just briefly, this Friday is First Friday in the city, so March 1st, everybody, if you're free, check out downtown. You can also share that St. John's Episcopal Church on Beaver Street's having a free concert with at 4 p.m. classical music. The Dominican Republic is celebrating its 180th year anniversary of independence. There's an event at York Revolution Stadium on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. And I believe the mayor did a proclamation this week, so you can check that out. And Market View Arts on Philadelphia Street is having a Filmopolis Thursday at 5 p.m. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Buck. Are there any other comments or questions? Any administration comment? Thank you. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for March 27th, 2024, at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And this meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining us.